Hello and welcome to another live English lesson here on the AM Language YouTube channel. If this is your first time, hit that like button and subscribe. Today is Film English, film review. We are going to look at some films, 3 to be precise, and we are going to talk about these films. We're going to try and develop our vocabulary to talk about why we enjoyed the film or why we don't enjoy or why we didn't enjoy the film. We're going to look at key things that we should think about when talking about a film, from the storyline to the quality of production, the casting, so the actors involved, and all the rest of it. Now, what I've done here is I have 2 good films, and then I've got 1 film in mind that is not great. So we should have a mixture. Irina F says, hello, Richard. Hello, Irina F. Good afternoon and welcome to today's lesson. Thank you for joining. It's the end of the week. It is Friday. And if you are in Malta, well, I know you have some lovely weather to enjoy. It's still probably not hot enough or warm enough to go swimming, but it's certainly good enough weather to go outside, to go for nice walks. Noelia, hello, welcome to the channel. Thank you for joining us again. I know you joined us a few times last week, so thank you for joining today's lesson. I hope you've had a good week. Actually, when you joined last time, I don't think I asked what your level of English is. So please let me know what your level of English is. So that just tells me because usually I think the majority of people and who end up watching these. So you've got B2 level. Okay, yes. I think that's quite normal in terms of the average range. I think the average range for people, for students who are watching the live lessons tend to be of a B2 level. Sometimes B1. I know we have the occasional elementary student as well, A2. So there is a difference, but so far, yes, the average on in today's lesson would be B2. So yes. So on the subject of films, Noella says, but I want to improve my level. Of course you do, and the next level would be C1, advanced. Leondina says, hi, Richard. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Leondina. Welcome to today's lesson. On the subject of improving your level, I would say this. When you are looking to improve your level, it's always good to have in your to think about why do I want to improve my level of English? What's my goal and what's the best way to get to achieve my goal? If it's to do with you want to socialize better, you want to be able to talk to more people, and you need to just improve your general range of English, that is when you go for general English. If at any point you seem to think, right, I do want to improve my English, but I have something specific in mind, let's say studies, for example, you might want to go back to university. This is where you would then need to go and think about doing something like the IELTS exam. That's more geared towards either work, English, well, improving your English at an international level for work or for university. And you also got business English, but business English isn't the course you go for if you want to improve your English on a general level. Business English is when you want to improve your level, but you need to improve it with work specifically in mind. And those are the 3 most popular courses that adults take at AM Language. It's either the general IELTS, general English, IELTS, or business English. And I'm very happy to say that we've got a really good. The results are going well. Have went really well last year despite COVID, and hopefully we can continue that into 2021. So let's begin. So the first film I'm going to talk about is to do with the thumbnail. Okay, and the film here is Gladiator. Now, why have I chosen Gladiator? Well, everybody knows Gladiator. Roberto says, good afternoon, Richie. Good afternoon, Roberto. Thank you so much for joining. Now, the reason why I've chosen Gladiator is Gladiator is going to be the introduction to how we are going to go about trying to talk about a film. I'm using it as the example. We'll then go on to talk about 3 different films. But what I want to do is I just want to create the context, make it absolutely clear how we can go about talking about or giving a film review in a social way. So when we think of a film like Gladiator, okay, we can first start off by trying to, how can we summarize, how can we describe a film like Gladiator? Okay. Now, of course, we've got the genre, and we know the genre is going to be action. But if I want to describe the movie, okay, I would go with words like epic, which means it's a big film. Okay, in that sense, it's an epic film. Okay, it's got because it has an epic storyline. Okay, it's an epic storyline. It's a big storyline, for example. It's dramatic in the sense that of how they present the film. So it's got dramatic film photography. Um, it's got an impressive cast. Now, when I use cast, of course, I'm talking about actors. So you've got epic storyline, you've got a dramatic film photography, you've got an impressive cast. You've got, well, I would say probably when it comes to the music, you've got this, in terms of music, you've got this grand, um, emotionally, um, e- grand, grand and emotionally, grand and emotionally, yeah, maybe powerful soundtrack. So yes, you've got the soundtrack is grand and powerfully emotional. There we go. And finally, there's a good balance between action and plot. Okay, so uh, it has an epic storyline. It has a dramatic. The film photography is dramatic. I should probably that because now I'm going to put this in more in normal English. The film photography is dramatic. It has an impressive cast. The soundtrack is grand and powerfully emotional, and there's a good balance between action and plot. So, in this, when we try to summarize, we're trying to talk about each element, key elements of the film. So, if we go through the elements, you've got the storyline, or you could also say plot as well. Um, two, you've got film or cinema photography. Go to it. Three, cast. Four, soundtrack. Three and five, uh, balance between plot and whatever other elements are, like action or capture shots or whatever it might be. So these are five really important elements that we need to talk about. Now, I've just gone with Gladiator because it's an easy one to think about. So let's go in with our first film that we can talk about. And I'm going to go with Joker. Okay, so our first film is The Joker. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to see what you guys come out with, how you would talk about some of these things to do with the film Joker, and I will give you my examples as well. When you want to talk about the storyline, film photography, cast, soundtrack, balance, if you want to just number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we can go back to them. So if you want to save some time in terms of writing, you can just refer to the elements as either element 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Evelina, good afternoon. Buono pomeriggio. Welcome to today's lesson. So the first film is The Joker. Now, while some of you might be thinking of how you would go about trying to talk about the film The Joker, for those of you who might not have seen it, I strongly recommend. Okay, I strongly recommend um, watching The Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. Okay, a fantastic film. Um, recommend. Okay, I strongly recommend watching Joker, or The Joker. Actually, I think there's the and the before the Joker. Now, strongly recommend is a strong recommendation, of course. So Leondina says, unfortunately, she hasn't seen it yet. Well, let me explain. The film The Joker, um, I would say. Tell you what, actually, we'll see what some people come up with first. If no one comes up with anything, we'll turn this into a listening exercise where you guys would have to try and think of what I. Okay, so most of you haven't seen this. Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's go into a listening exercise. Okay, we'll go into a listening exercise. I'm going to talk about each element of this film. And I would like you guys to try and tick the boxes of how I described 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. So if you hear me, uh, let's say I talk about the storyline, you can hear, you put one storyline and you can just tell me the words that I use. You don't need to write full sentences. Evelina says, I saw the Joker movie. Did you enjoy it, Evelina? So example answer, okay, example answer would be one storyline, and you might say words like epic, fun, scary, etc. Okay, so for number one, the storyline, listen out for the words I use, and I'd like you just to write, take notes, and then just tell me what words I used effectively. So I'm going to describe. I'm going to describe it to you. So we'll start off with the storyline. Okay. So the storyline of the Joker. It's about how the Joker, the person, I can't remember. I think it's his. The name's Arthur. I can't remember his surname, but it's about this character Arthur It's played by Joaquin Phoenix. Notice I've used the passive there. It's played by, and then you say the actor's name. Okay, so it's very common that you use the passive when you talk about who played who. So it's played by Joaquin Phoenix, and it's about this character Arthur and how he becomes the Joker. And the storyline is gripping, and it's well, gripping, it's captivating and disturbing at the same time. So it's gripping, it's captivating, and it's disturbing. Why is it gripping? Well, it's gripping because it's it 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 captures your attention. You can't stop watching the film. That's why it's gripping. It really captures your imagination. It pulls you into the film. Okay. Gripping, captivating, and this is why, I mean, gripping and captivating can almost be synonyms in this sense. It's captivating because as it pulls you into the film and you begin to learn about the character Arthur, you start seeing his story. You can see things from his perspective as well, and that is why we lead on to the third word, disturbing. Because this character Arthur, his story is disturbing. His perspective is disturbing. He's about this person who, in reality, before he became the Joker, he was a victim of his psychological health and of a system that didn't support him. And but just like all stories, yes, you could say the character has a mental illness, but it's disturbing because you see him trying to fit in, trying to be a normal person, and it doesn't work. He only feels comfortable when he is the strange person, and he begins to hate the world. And I mean, he already hates the world, but he begins to really hate the world. He hates trying to be normal. And he ends up seeing himself as a sort of person who, in the end, he wants the world to burn, really. So that's why it's disturbing. So those are the first ones. Let me know what I said. Feel free to write down if you the words that I have said there. Okay, so we've got gripping, captivating, and disturbing. In terms of, okay, so no, oh yeah, yes, it does have a dramatic action plot. Dramatic action plot. You would probably say it had its plot. The plot here, Niola, should probably be the subject, not the object of the sentence. So the plot is the plot is full of dramatic action. That's how you could write it. Yeah, the plot is dramatic. Ian says gripping, captivating, and disturbing. Excellent, good. Number two, film photography. Film photography is it's okay. It's colorful. It's expressive, and and colorful, expressive. There's a third word I'm thinking of, but I can't really. I'm not sure. You could say it's dramatic, actually. Okay, cool. Thank you very much, Neola. You gave me that third one there. So it's colorful because the colors, there's lots of different colors in it. You've got these, but the colors can make it, and a psychological thriller. Yeah, it's definitely a psychological thriller. And okay, so first of all, it's colorful because it's got lots of different colors. It's expressive because it tells you about the character. It tells you about the film. If something is expressive, just by looking at it, it tells you what the person is or who the person is. It tells you what kind of film this is. It tells you more about what the environment that the character is in. And that's what I mean by expressive. Okay. It really tells you so much else, tells you lots of other things about the film. And then the third one, dramatic. Now it is dramatic in terms of how they do certain things. So, for instance, the changing of the clothes, the progression of the clothes, the how he ends up with his face as a clown, for example. Um, I think at the end, for example, there's this bit where he's got blood and he gets this blood that's on his hands and he makes the smiley face on his mouth, for example, and that is all dramatic. Again, the photography, the film photography is, again, it's constantly trying to tell you more about the film. So it's not just words, it's the visual element of it. So let me know what I said for number two. Uh, three, cast. The main person we have to talk about here is Joaquin Felix. Now, the words I would use for Joaquin Felix here is, um, I would just go with the term master class. That's all I'm going to say on that one. So Leondina says, colorful, expressive, dramatic, excellent. Yes, it's a masterclass performance. Now, the reason why I say it's a masterclass performance is because you believe he is the character. Now, there's some things about actors, like sometimes you watch a film, you see an actor, and you always think that's an actor playing this character. I mean, if any of you have seen Troy and you see Brad Pitt play Achilles, you know you are watching Brad Pitt play Achilles. It's always Brad Pitt playing Achilles. You never fully believe it's Achilles, for example. But Joaquin Felix is so good that he makes you believe the character. He's a very believable Joker. And what I really liked about it was the what we would call subtleties. Okay. Now I'll write this word in. Okay. Subtleties. Okay. Subtleties. Okay. Now subtleties are small but important elements of something. And in this case, it's the subtleties of his performance. So he has four different laughs in the film. And the two most obvious ones is no, the three. No, I can't remember the fourth, but there are three very clear ones. The first laugh is the laugh where he sees everyone else laughing and therefore he thinks he should be laughing. That's the first one. The second one is the nervous laugh. So he just starts laughing because he's uncomfortable. Uh, the third one is his actual genuine laugh, what he actually finds funny. And the fourth one is the uncomfortable laugh. It's the creepy laugh. There's nothing funny, and he doesn't find it. He's not laughing because it's funny. He's just making this sound of a laughing noise because it's just uncomfortable for everybody else. And those are the subtleties. So that's why for number three, I would say it's a masterclass. If we look at number four, soundtrack. Soundtrack, again, I would say it's just the word I would use for the soundtrack one is complementary. The word I would go with is complementary because the music, the music again, it reflects the character Arthur, okay, who becomes the Joker. There's a scene where he's in the bathroom, and you hear, we call, imagine I'm playing this instrument here. It's called a cello in English, okay? Um, and you just hear this cello in the background, and he starts dancing. It's, you could describe it as maybe playful artistically, because Joaquin Phoenix just starts dancing, but it's the sound complements the disturbing nature of Arthur. The music is disturbing, Arthur is disturbing, they complement each other. So for number four, I'd say complementary. And finally, number five, balance between plot and action. I think there's a really good balance in this between the development of the plot of Arthur becoming the Joker, and the key scenes of where there's some action involved. And what I would use is, there's an excellent build up. So the main word here, build up. Now you might be thinking, what are you talking about? A build up. A build up is how the the director takes you from the start of the story to the end of the story, and the surprise factor, the end factor. You He takes the story takes you through the different stages, but it's all going somewhere, and it's the main scene. And the main scene in this case is with Robert De Niro. Now I won't ruin the film for you guys in terms of what happens with this scene, but it's a fantastic scene, great acting, and it's a powerful moment in the scene because of what happens. And that's the build-up factor. It takes you to this point, and it's one of these things whereby you there's sometimes in films you expect something big to happen. Now, the most famous, like if I were to tell you, for instance, obvious ones, for example, Matrix, the it all builds up to Neo in the Matrix being shot, and then coming back to life. Um, if you watch it, if you watch anything like Passion of Christ, it all builds up to him dying on the cross, for example. If it's Gladiator, it's all about Maximus fighting the Emperor. It's the That's the build up, taking you towards the main scene of a movie. Um, and the build up to this is brilliant. Nola says for number three, she would describe. So she's used believable, disturbing character. Yes, it's a believable and disturbing character, and you're right. Joaquin Phoenix does that excellently. So there we go, guys. We've got some quite a few words there. In case you missed out anything, so Leondina said for three, masterclass performance by Joaquin Phoenix. Yes. Four, complimentary. Five, excellent build up. Excellent. Okay, so those are the correct answers as well. So now I'm going to choose a film that hopefully most of you know, and let's see what you guys can come out with. Actually, no, I'm going to give you a choice. I'm going to give you a choice between three films. So at least, hopefully, you have all seen at least one of these films. That you can then describe, and then you can talk about. So let's go with, okay, the first film that we could go with. Uh, I mean, it's a very famous film. I suppose it's famous, and I imagine most people probably would have seen it. Um, Okay, the first film I'm going to go with, it's not a personal favorite film of mine, but I just know that most people will have seen it. And I do want people to try and use some of this language. Leondina says, "You have made me very curious about this film." Excellent. I'm delighted because it's a great film. I really recommend it. So the first film that you can tell me, you can talk to me about going through the five elements is Titanic. It's a safe bet because I know most people have seen Titanic at least once in their life. Um, B, um, oh no, I don't want to go with another Leonardo DiCaprio film. I think that would be a bit silly. Um, Noella says yes, she'll watch it this evening. Excellent. I'm sure you will enjoy it. It's a really really good film. I really recommend it. So we've got Titanic as one option. B, if you want, you can go with film like 300. Of course, this is to do with the Spartans. That's a again, it's a very famous one. I know most people would have watched it. So we've got one romantic, we've got one action. I tell you what, option three. Let's oh, let's go with. Uh, I want to try and pick a slightly different film from the first two because we've got one action, we've got one romantic. Let's go with a drama film. I'm going to go with Scarface. Now, again, Scarface is a really famous film. I don't know if everybody has watched it. Classic Al Pacino, acting as he ends up being this main drug lord sort of guy. A very dramatic film. It's probably a drama thriller, really, if anything. If you want to include your own film, let's say you don't want to talk about Titanic, 300, or Scarface, but there's a slightly different film that you want to talk about, please let me know, and let me know about how you would describe that film, going through the five different points. Evelina says Titanic is romantic, it's dramatic, and it's historical. Yes, it is romantic. Absolutely. It's definitely dramatic. And of course, there's the historical element of it, of Titanic actually sinking. Um, I think the thing that I've always thought about the Titanic, it's and I'll introduce this to you actually. Okay, there's actually a YouTube channel called Cinema Sins. Okay, where they point out problems or negatives within a film. What I'm going to say is, how would I describe it? Okay, things that bug me. Okay, now when I say bug me means it's got a few words, a few meanings: irritate, annoy, slash annoy. Okay, there's some things about Titanic that bug me. Okay, and bug me is, yeah, it irritates me or annoys me. There's certain silly things, and it's to do with an element of believability about the characters or the situation. Now, I'm not talking about the Titanic sinking. I'm talking about the very, very famous bit after the Titanic has sunk, where the woman is on a door, which is a very big door, and there's clearly enough room for Leonardo DiCaprio. That sort of thing bugs me because it's really, really small. It's a small bit of detail. It's funny, but if you were to take the film seriously, it should be corrected. Um, so it's one of those which is funny, but it can bug you if you want to take the film seriously. Again, it's something like, if I were to think of other films, um, what's a film that really bugs me when I watch it? I can't think of it at the moment, but that's what I mean by bug. Okay, so Noella says Titanic is a dramatic romance with an emotional fantastic soundtrack. Um, what you need to do there, by the way, when you have, you would need to make emotional, emotionally. So adverb, adjective. So that would be my suggestion. If you're going to go with two adjectives, you need to put a comma. So with an emotional, comma, and fantastic soundtrack, or emotional and fantastic soundtrack. So let me just write that for you. Emotional and fantastic soundtrack, or you're going to go with the adverb emotionally fantastic soundtrack. Okay, so those are your two options. If you're going to go adjective, adjective, you need to put and in the middle. So adjective and adjective, noun. Or you can just go with the adverb, adverb, adjective, noun. So that's the structure. Film photography is very impressive. It is very impressive. Um, I think the thing with film photography is with a film like Titanic is it makes you feel cold. And that's and I mean that like when you watch a film, sometimes you watch a film and you think to yourself, you don't believe it's a real situation. Let's put it that way. You don't think the character is actually cold. But in the Titanic, because they used actual cold water and the lighting is blue, it's the lighting is cold itself, it makes you feel cold. You can see that this is a cold, physically cold situation, and I like that. I think that's a. I would say from a film photography point of view, Titanic is very impressive because the. I don't use the word shows because it's a bit simple. Let me introduce you to a different word. The word I'm going to use, it means to show, by the way, but instead of using the word show, you can use the word conveys. Okay. And it conveys the situation and how cold the situation is. Shows, conveys. If you want to go for a slightly a better word than shows, a higher level, you can go with conveys. Okay. So it conveys the coldness and the desperation of the situation, and that's impressive. And that's down to the. I just realised I'm running out of um, battery. Um, hmm, convey, yes. Sorry. Um, sorry, I just need to put my charger in because I've just realised I'm low on battery. So yes, conveys. Again, I would say if I were to pick another one, actually, another good film that does this is Saving Private Ryan. I don't know if you know the film in English, but you probably would have seen it. It stars Tom Hanks. It's to do with the Second World War, and what Saving Private Ryan does so well is that it conveys the difficulty of the of D-Day. It conveys how difficult it must have been to be a soldier landing on a beach in that situation, and that's what you want these films to do. These dramatic films, you want and it all comes down to film photography and the soundtrack. It's trying to convey the situation. Um, because there's nothing more disappointing sometimes when you're watching a film, you know it's supposed to be serious and it doesn't convey the situation, and it's terrible with war films. When you watch a war film or a spy film or a thriller or a crime film, a film about crime, sorry, and it doesn't convey the situation properly because of the film photography. It looks fake. The soundtrack isn't right. It's disappointing. So that's how I would go with it. In that sense. Let me know about number 3. Yeah, the performance of actors. Maybe you want to tell me about the performance of Leonardo DiCaprio, for example, in Titanic, um, or a different actor in a different film. Leonardo DiCaprio, I would say, is the sort of actor who I didn't like very much in his early years, but he's an actor that I've grown to like over time. Um, I think if we go back about maybe 10 years ago, I think that's when he was started to. There was a period, I think, maybe over the last 15 years, where Leonardo DiCaprio really took on some really good roles. I think he was, for instance, I thought he was very good in The Wolf of Wall Street. I thought he was excellent in Blood Diamond, very good in Departed. I If you've seen a film called Django Unchained, um, really good Tarantino movie, and he's not the main character, but he's excellent in it. Really good performance. I can't remember the film that he won the Oscar for. Something like The Reverend or something like that. The irony is, the funny thing is, I think he won an Oscar for a performance that was definitely not his best performance, funny enough. But I don't have an awful lot to say about Leonardo DiCaprio in Titanic, other than his character seems a bit. Okay, I'm going to use this to describe him actually. Okay, his character in Titanic is a bit wet. Okay, now what do I mean by wet? Well, I mean pathetic. Um, like he's not a. There's when I think about the character, there's nothing really attractive. I mean, I could be really wrong here, but I'm talking about the character, like the personality of the character that he plays. So I'm not talking about Leonardo DiCaprio as in terms of him. I'm talking about the person he plays in the film. I think his character is a bit pathetic. It's a bit wet, and the reason why I say that is the character just comes across really weak. Um, I don't find him like I don't find the character attractive. I didn't find the character likable. Um, Noella says that she loves Tom Hanks. He's such a versatile actor. Great word, by the way, versatile, meaning different. I agree. Tom Hanks is excellent. And Tom Hanks is a man with 1,000 faces of constantly showing, of having a look of, we have a problem. He really knows how to have that look on his face of, this is a problem in every film. Um, in so many films, he always has that look of, this is a problem. Oh dear, what are we? He really knows how to look as if he's about to be killed. In fact, he's a character who knows how to look like he's about to be killed, but never actually gets killed. I can't think of a film where Tom Hanks dies. Like, I know there's some actors, there's an actor called Sean Bean. He played, he's been in so many films, but he always has to die in a film. There's some actors who have to die in a film. I can't think of a film where Tom Hanks dies. I think it's probably in his contract that he plays a character that doesn't die. It's a bit like Will Smith. Can you think of a film where Will Smith has died? I can't think of a film where he's died. Bruce Willis, yes. Bruce Willis likes to die in films, except Die Hard. Evelina says, DiCaprio I liked in Titanic, but less in other films. Fair enough. I would say, look, without question, Titanic was has to go down as one of his most successful films. What is the best character he's ever played? That would be a good question. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I could say which character Leonardo DiCaprio has played, which I would say is the best character he's played. He's played so many. Evelina says that she likes Anthony Hopkins. Anthony Hopkins is a brilliant, brilliant actor. I loved him in so many things, whether it's like The Mask of Zorro or Zorro in English, Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal. Very, very, very. Thank you very much, Noella. Yeah, he's so versatile. He's very, very good. Fantastic actor. He's excellent as well in a film that he played recently. He played as Pope Benedict in a film called The Two Popes. If you haven't seen that, it's a really good film. And again, Anthony Hopkins is brilliant, but he is just a brilliant actor. Yeah, superb. Well, guys, that's come to the end of today's lesson. I'm very pleased to see that so many of you have joined in, participated, and given me your thoughts. Like the video if you enjoyed this lesson, and if you would also, if you like Film English and you would like to see more live lessons on Film English and Film Review, where we get to talk about these sort of things. Noella says Tom Hanks can't die. Can't die. Instead of died, just die. Yeah, I agree. I don't think Tom Hanks can die. It's like Sylvester Stallone. I can't think of a film where Sylvester Stallone has died. Or Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger is another one. He never dies in any of his films. I do love Arnold Schwarzenegger, though. He is so funny. I love the way when he speaks English. It's brilliant. You know, it's like, get down again, get to the chopper. What is it called? Oh, Recall. Yes, there's like a film from the 80s called Total Recall, and it's absolutely hilarious. He's got these. He's like, I've got to get to Mars. I'm a secret agent. No, they're trying to kill me. Arnold Schwarzenegger can make anything dramatic. He could be a pizza delivery guy. He could be a pizza delivery guy, and he could make the thing dramatic. He'd be like, I've got to get these pizzas. I got to get these pizzas to the clients. They're going to try and kill me on the way there. Get down. They're trying to take my pizzas. It's so funny. It's ridiculous. But it's true. He's that character. If you give Arnold Schwarzenegger any role in the world, it can be dramatic. You can believe that someone is trying to kill him. I mean, he could make dog walking epic. Imagine a film starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's like you could have this sort of thing where in a city where you have to fight to survive, one man walks dogs for a living. And the mob wanted him. Listen to me. I've got these dogs. I'm taking them for a walk. But there's this guy who's going to try and kill me. Get down. Arnold Schwarzenegger is Dog Walker. It's so stupid. It's so ridiculous. Sorry, I just got lost in my own world there. Sandra says, hi, Richard. Will Smith is dying in £7. Good point. He does. I have never seen that film. I probably should see that film, but thank you for telling me of a film where he dies. £7. Noella says, Two Popes is an amazing film. I agree. Leondina says, even though the beginning of this week lessons were being beset by difficulties. Well done, by the way, Leondina. Great use of the word beset. You made a great job. Thank you very much. Enjoy your weekend and see you on Monday. You too. Thank you very much. Instead of made a good job, did a good job. Thank you very much for that compliment. Noella says, very nice lesson. Thank you very much. Have a nice weekend. You too as well. So a big thank you to all of you who participated in today's lesson. There were a good number of you. Thank you so much. Make sure you like the video. If you're new, subscribe and share the channel with others. And I will see you on Monday with another week of, well, I'll see you on Monday, 3 o'clock, with another live lesson. Thank you so much. Arena F, thank you. I'm wishing you a very joyful and relaxed weekend. Thank you. You too. Evelina, you managed to make me laugh too. Fantastic. I'm very happy to hear that, Evelina. Sandra, have a nice weekend as well. Evelina, have a great weekend too. So yes, so a big thank you to all of you in the live chat sections. It's so great to see so many of you taking part. Take care and bye for now.